Hey there folks, Paul is here once again. Today we have a really special treat. This is the Temporal Rift by Dunwich Amplification. This guitar pedal is really incredible. If you take a look at camera B right now, you can see that we have an echo, dwell, sub, morph, and mix and warp knobs on this thing. And the best part about this pedal, other than the amazing visual of it, is the fact that it's got a really beautiful big old blue LED. Every sound I've been able to get out of this has been incredibly inspiring and sometimes overwhelming. And that's a really fascinating thing because this pedal just has so much to give. So without further ado, I'm going to play through a distortion sound through my Revv Generator 100p and this pedal in the loop. So let's hear what kind of sound I've got conjured today. Now isn't that interesting? So the way that I've got it set up is the dwell and the echo are kind of on the lower end of things because that's where things can get really crazy, as well as the mix is kind of a bit higher, so you hear just more of this vociferous kind of affected sound. I find it to be very usable like this in a way that's really like inspired. I like to play melodies quite slowly with this kind of a sound to really drag out the nuances the pedal seems to give. So now I'm going to play a little bit and have an open string playing around while I mess with the pedal so that you can see all the different tones. I will eventually switch to a clean tone as well, and we'll further invest into looking at what else is possible with this crazy pedal. So there's a couple of ways that you can seemingly run this pedal. You can have it with that sub knob really rolled in there, and that makes it really, really kind of terrifying in one way. And you can have that warp, which is kind of feeling like it's a bit of a mix knob in one regard, that definitely seems to change up the way that volume responds with my amplifier in the effects loop. The morph the morph knob definitely changes the dynamic of it. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't love to do these reviews with far too much information. I would rather start them off in this kind of a, this is how I'm going to use it kind of a way. And so far this is really bizarre, and I really like bizarre. Bizarre is good. So I'm going to play a couple of split tone position stuff with these pickups here with this, and let's see what else we can come up with. Pretty heinous, man, pretty bizarre. Ooh, okay, I like this one a lot. So for single notey stuff, using that sub will really bring out a lot of that, of course, sub frequency terrorization. And that's a really fascinating thing as a guitar player who's always been more inclined to that super precise death metal tone or whatever. This is definitely not aimed at me in that usual kind of a way, but I'm able to find such usable tones from this, which is what's interesting about this whole thing. Oh yeah, okay. So this is definitely one of those settings where I'm gonna look back at this video and be like, okay, that's what I used. Because that's really, really satisfying to play and to mess around with in the first place. I'm gonna invest a little bit more in that sub. Here we go. And I wanna see what happens if I max the dwell out. Definitely makes me feel like I'm playing in some kind of dilapidated cathedral. That's like God, a chaos god kind of warping into reality. That's kind of the feeling. Okay, how else can I describe that? Okay, a bit more to echo now. All right, now we're getting a little wetter, aren't we? So, let me mess with the morph knob. It's still going. See, that's what I like to call the black hole effect. So as much as this is a temporal rift of delay and verb and rich sultry sub, and that morph knob seems to just change the, I don't know, the ways the frequencies are connected to each other, it feels really bizarre to mess with that morph knob. Let me continue for a moment here. As you can see, I am ducking down, the pedals right here, and every time I seem to change something, I'm able to come up with a new musical idea. It's a really fascinating thing for me, again, as a very death metal or tech death or prog guitar player based in the 21st century, to play with a pedal that's got so much stuff going on. I don't know how else to put it to you. It's got so much breadth to each knob. I definitely love the fact that I've maxed out the dwell. This is definitely a really satisfying sound for me personally. I really like a really, really wet kind of sound in the first place, but this is just working out really, really well. I'm super impressed. A note on the build quality. This pedal has traveled to Europe and back with me. In fact, I got Timo Somers, my great friend, and my other great friend, Daniel Kortkas, to check out this pedal, and we ran it through another Revv Generator 120p, 120 rather, and through an Orange Rockaverb Mark II or Mark III. It's like a 50 watt. And in both scenarios, they both completely differently messed around with the pedal, even to the way that I've got it set up right now. It's very, very different, and it's really fascinating. So the thing is that this has about 1 million tones, and I could probably make this video an hour long, but that's gonna be too much data to put up onto YouTube right now. The point being is, this is super impressive. I'm going to continue messing around for a moment here with a 6-string guitar and with a clean tone, just so that you guys can hear a little bit of a different tonality. Alright, so I've switched over to my Aristides 060 with Lundgren pickups, which I know are not very famous for their cleans, but as I've recently proven, they can work really, really well. Let's see how a fully clean tone through my Revv Generator 100p with this guitar and its aggressive pickups work with the temporal rift here. Alright, I immediately like that, but as you notice, when I switch to the full-on neck pickup, I start to clip a little bit. I'm keeping watch here because I've been clipping recently, and that's problematic, which means that my output is a little bit hot, which is okay. So I'm going to mess around a little bit here in the split positions a bit more, because that's where the Lundgrens tend to be, it's alright. Super impressed. The whole, like, really, really cool. I'm gonna mess with, yeah, I'm gonna mess with the pedal now. Okay, a little bit of this, touch of that, maybe right there. I want a little bit less of that, and a bit more of this. Yeah. Technical terms, all of those. A little bit of that clipping stuff. You know what? I figured out it's just the guitar is really goddamn hot. So. Now, if that isn't convincing to you guys from my facial expressions, I really don't know what else could convince you. Dunwich Amplification is legendary for all of the different boutique pedals that they have been putting out over the years, and they're incredible. The build quality is incredible. Everything down to the LED, to the artwork on these things is just like, it's top notch. I'm really, really impressed with this offering from them, and if you have the opportunity to try one, do try one, because it's got so many different things that you can do in it. I actually wrote an entire song the other night with just sitting down and experimenting with this pedal. Now, I did try out some other pedals along with it to see how it plays well, if it plays well with others or not. That was kind of my idea. And it certainly does. I tried a Digitech Freakout, which is kind of like a sustain feedback pedal, which just screams with this thing. It's insane. The amount of overtones and harmonics I started to get, even outside of the synthetic nature of the Digitech thing, was just incredible. Absolutely incredible. I'm very, very impressed with this. I think that, again, if you have the opportunity to try one of these, do try one. Do definitely try one. You will find something that you like in there, even if some of these tones of mine have not been as convincing. I think that for everyone who likes anything wet in their signal chain, they're gonna find something that's interesting about this pedal. So that's it for now. I'm going to continue playing myself out here because this is just really cool, and I will catch you guys later. Cheers.